What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Redeeming the Game podcast. I am your host, Coach Matt Sanders. I am excited for this next episode, mostly because we're going to take another step down the path of unpacking leadership. And you know from my last podcast and some of the other ones that I just love it. I ingest it, I eat it, I kind of sleep it. I love leadership. I have studied it for a very long time. I've worked under some incredible leaders, some leaders who've taught me so many incredible tidbits on leading from life and life to leading. And I want to start today with a little tidbit on an analogy on leadership. One of the first bosses I ever had as a head coach, and actually as an athletic director, was a principal. And shout out to Mrs. C. And just loved her leadership style, loved how she led, loved how she took a young coach like me and allowed me to lead, but taught me how to lead. And she said something that sticks with me to this day. I say it all the time. If you do this and you use it, good for you. We're all on the same page. We were talking about an athlete, and we were talking about what they were struggling with in class and all the things that they were struggling with. And one of the things that she said to me, she said, you know, people, athletes, students are a lot like ketchup bottles. And I just was like, what? And she said, you know, when you go to the restaurant, what color is the ketchup bottle? And I was like, I mean, it's got ketchup in it, so it's red. She said, yeah, you're right, but the ketchup bottle, when you squeeze it, does it go clear? And I was like, oh, no, it's red. And she said, we need to realize that these athletes, these players, these students are like the ketchup bottle, that you really don't know what's inside until they get squeezed. And I think it is an incredible viewpoint on how to lead people. Because if you pay attention to what's inside and you see what may be on the outside that's getting to the inside of them, it will actually help you lead them. And when she told me that, it really stuck with me. As you can tell, this was almost 30 years ago, it feels like. Maybe like 25. And it stuck with me. And I just wanted to start today with that nugget. I think it is a really powerful nugget. So without further ado, let's take another step a little bit deeper into the leadership model we're talking about as beloved coaches. So somewhere along the way, for a lot of us, for sure for me, along the way, many coaches, myself included, we learn to carry everything quietly. What does that mean? That means that we are voicing the weightiness of the job. That job I just shared about is a great example. In my third year there, I was really struggling physically. I think I shared this with you in the last podcast. I was pretty sick by Christmas time. And I was teaching 6 classes a day. And then I was the basketball coach of the boys team, and I was the athletic director. And I did not realize that I was carrying so much that it was affecting me physically until that was right when I got married. And one of the things my wife helped me understand was that I was carrying things that I didn't need to carry. I needed to delegate some work in other places so I could relinquish control. And what ended up happening, just to be frank with you, is I ended up stepping down as the athletic director at the end of that year and becoming the assistant AD because I just flat out couldn't do it. I was young and I was really carrying too much, and I was really carrying it quietly. So what was I carrying? The pressure to get everything done, the expectations on myself and around me, and then the weight of just being the leader, just being the one in charge, right? And I carried that quietly, and I just flat out, just being honest, it almost, tongue in cheek, killed me. But carrying it alone was never meant to be a part of the calling. And again, thankful to my wife and even to my boss, Mrs. C, she helped me understand as I grew in my leadership that it was important to have people around me. See, coaching and leading trains you to be strong for others, right? It's a proving ground because there's a lot happening all the time. But when your strength is isolated, When you isolate yourself inside what you're doing and the strength is isolated inside of it, you actually become really, really heavy. And I want to pause and say this. I don't mean this to be kind of dark and heavy, but I literally 5 minutes ago just saw a reel where Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players to ever live, looked a interviewer in the face and said, "Leadership is lonely." And my mind went, boom. Man, this guy is one of the GOATs. He's one of the greatest scorers. He's one of the greatest, touted as one of the greatest leaders on any team. And he said leadership is lonely. Think about that. He's got cameras around him. He's got people around him all the time. And he said leadership is lonely. And I would like to, I wish I could grab him and during that time and say, no, this is not meant to be that way. You're not meant to do this alone. You're not meant to carry this weight of that alone. And I actually learned that isolation doesn't mean the absence of people. It means the absence of shared formation and maybe shared information. Like, I know for a long time, I was scared to talk to my boss and my wife about all of the issues that I was having. I was isolating it in myself. And then eventually, as I just shared with you, like, for maybe this is the 5th time in a row, hopefully get this point across, it affected me physically. Definitely mentally and emotionally, obviously spiritually for sure. It was a battle. And a battle that I was never going to win on my own. And you aren't either. You were never meant to carry it alone. But the culture that we live in now, it tends to isolate the coach and make it look like that you get put on a pedestal and you're this incredible leader. And if your team is winning, everybody wants a piece of you, and yet it's lonely because you're not sharing it. You better share it. It's not meant to be that way. So what happened to me? What shifted in my life? So as I've shared with you in the past podcast 5 years ago, God changed everything about me. He even reminded me today as I was reading some things about and listening to some things about who He says I am. He was reminding me that don't stay in that place. I brought you out of that. I gave you a new identity. You are beloved, righteous, and redeemed. And what beloved identity says about this is that it reminds me, and it should remind us, that we are sons and daughters of the Most High God and King Jesus before we are leaders. See, remember, I gave you this picture of the ladder. At the top of the rung of the ladder, before anything else, is you are a beloved child of the King. When you say yes to Jesus' sacrifice, that's who you are. And then it's your family, and then it's your coaching and leading. And as beloved sons and daughters, we were never, ever, ever, ever designed to do it alone. Man, if I could go back and tell my younger self, don't do this, don't try to do this alone. It won't work. You are going to crash and burn. You're going to make bad decisions. And I can't even begin to tell you how many bad decisions I made. And I'll be honest, if you're a dual role coach and you're teaching classes, or you're the athletic director or your assistant AD, if you're doing dual role jobs, a part of your occupation as a coach and whatever else, that if you try to do this alone, you will crash. You will make poor decisions. And let me tell you where it shows up the most, the sideline. Because you're pressurized all day long, and when you get there, especially as a high school coach, when you get to that point, and maybe even as much as a college coach too, when you get to that point, you're a ticking time bomb waiting to go off if things don't go well. If your team doesn't start well. I remember having a really difficult time. I'm actually visualizing it now. Having a really difficult time going from being the AD into the locker room before the game. If I wasn't so overly peaceful with what had gone on prior to that, I was a mess in the locker room. I was all over the place, game plan, all that kind of stuff. So who takes the brunt of that? The kids, the team, then my wife and my child. So how do we combat this? How do we get to a place where we learn that we weren't meant as children of God to leaders? How to get to a place where we realize that we do need community. So let's take a breath, take a step back here, and let's talk about some scripture. Galatians 6:2 says, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. So, wow, okay. So think about this. You're not supposed to do this on your own. And if you've got assistant coaches or you've got people that walk with you, if you hold on to all of the pressures and all of it because you're so strong and you can do it, what will happen to you is one of two things will happen. Either you're going to crash and burn physically, emotionally, and spiritually, or you're probably going to get burned out. But if you've got people to help carry the burdens with you, then what happens is you always feeling fulfilled and you have enough strength to keep going when things don't go well. It's really easy, right? So then here comes Galatians 2, and it says, great representation, carry each other's burdens. So let these people carry it for you. Notice that the burden is removed. You're not carrying it. You share it. Jesus said that yoke that he has is light. That thing that you put around the animals, it's light. So we need to carry that together. That's discipleship. It's shared. It's a shared existence as a coach. And not that you're just existing, but it's part of what you do and who you are. When you share it, it's powerful. One more scripture, Hebrews 10:24-25 says, let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, encouraging one another. This is the place where I said to you in the last podcast. This is why you need a group of coaches, a group of people around you that you can unpack to help carry things with you, that you will feel from them, that their love for you will spur you on in your job and in your calling. That lunch I told you about that I went to in the last podcast, I want you to know that that thing always spurs me. It gives me energy. I feel empty if I don't. I'm sure you do too. And I want to say to you, this is so important to share your burdens with somebody. You need a group of coaches. You need people to come alongside you in a really, really powerful way and to speak into it. Okay, so let's kind of start to land the plane here. Let me ask you a question, an honest question. So who helps you carry? Who carries your leadership weight? Who is come alongside you? Who speaks the truth in love to you when you're tired, unsure, or discouraged? Who does that? Who is that person or persons? See, being a beloved child of the King, a righteous and redeemed one, it should be awakening you to say to yourself, I'm not asking you to do this to prove your strength to everybody else. Jesus did that for you. He did that for me. Isn't that powerful? So what does beloved identity do? What does your beloved righteousness do? What does it mean to be a beloved, righteous, and redeemed child of the King in your leadership? It invites you to share that growth. It invites you to share it with other people so that everybody is spurring each other on to love and good works. See, community isn't weakness. In fact, it's empowering. It brings wisdom. You need this community on a daily basis. Man, oh man, if you hear anything I say, if you don't hear anything else I say, hear that I say this. Community is not weakness. It brings strength and wisdom. You need it incredibly bad. I know I did. And I can tell you before 5 years ago, I did not. I did it all alone. And I'll be honest, I was asked to resign my position as a head coach at a university. And looking back on it, I remember feeling isolated, alone, and I actually wore it like a coat and a badge. And I would say all the time, this leadership is lonely. Man, I wish someone had grabbed him by the shirt and said, no. You need a group of people to come alongside you. You need to ask people to come alongside you, and you need to let them pour into you, and you need to pour out. Because if you don't pour out to them and then pour into you, you will be empty. And I can tell you that at the end of that, when all of that happened and the rug gets pulled out from under you and you get asked to leave, All the questions come, and I found myself empty, completely empty, because all I did was pour out and no one was pouring into me. See, that's why you need that community. It provides wisdom and strength. I wish I'd have had it, because I would have totally done things differently. I wish I'd have been able to listen more. And see, and that kind of leadership is healthy. It doesn't mean, you got to be somewhat independent as a head coach. But what it does as a beloved child, the community makes you connected. You're not disconnected. You might be independent as a leader in your role, but you're not disconnected from people who can help you do it better. See, the formation of who you are helps you to grow even stronger when it's shared. I don't know how else to tell you. I wish I could say to my younger self, this is the formation of your heart as a coach. When you say yes to Jesus, this is it. This is the top of the top. That community that you have around you, it spurs you on to love and good works for Jesus Christ so that you can do the job that God's called you to do with the burning passion to share His love with everybody else, not alone. You're doing it with people around you. So hear me, younger self. If you're a young coach, I want you to hear me on this. You need community and you need it desperately. Don't try to do this by yourself. So as we close the chapter on this episode, here's what I want to say. This podcast has always been more than just content. I told you from Jump Street, I think I said it at the beginning of a couple podcasts ago. I just want to say this to you. I want it to be a doorway into the picture of what I did and how you can learn from what I did and even how I can learn from what I did. See, if these conversations have resonated with you, I want to invite you to take the next step with me. I want you to jump in with me, jump in the show notes, and grab the free PDF, the 10 things I wish I knew as a younger head coach. Download it and dive into it. I want to say this to you, and let this be a sounding siren in your life. You don't have to carry and do this alone. We are here for you. We want to be a part of your formation as a beloved child and a beloved coach so that you can love your players and your assistant coaches and all those people around you the way that God designed you to do it, with peace and wisdom and fiery passion, because that's how He loves you and how He loves us. Let's keep the game going. Let's keep redeeming the game. Know that we care and we're here for you. And surely want you to always know, I hope this blesses you.